There is high tension after President William Ruto makes an emergency move to block Edwin Sifuna's team from accessing Kakamega on a rally that is planned. Welcome to Kenya Lens Media, where we give you news updates as they break, and kindly consider subscribing. Now, a high-level meeting at State House has thrust Kakamega County into a national political spotlight, coming just days before Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna is expected to headline the next stop of the Linda Mwananchi tour in the region. President William Ruto convened the leaders from Western Kenya to discuss development priorities in what analysts view as both a governance engagement and a politically significant moment ahead of the anticipated opposition rally. According to official communication from State House, the talk centered on accelerating key infrastructure and social projects aimed at improving livelihoods in Kakamega. However, the timing, just days before the major opposition mobilization in the same region, has added a layer of political interpretation to what was framed as a development forecast meeting. Observers say the parallel developments highlights intensifying competition for influence in Western Kenya, a region that has historically played a decisive role in national electoral politics. State House indicated that the meeting focused primarily on fast-tracking projects intended to boost the economic activities and public services in Kakamega. Among the flagship initiatives discussed were the rollout of affordable housing, the construction of modern markets and major road upgrades, and the expansion of the local airport. The president also emphasized the need to complete the long-delayed works at Bukhungu Stadium, a project that has become symbolic of stalled development promises in the county. Beyond infrastructure, the agenda included plans to deepen access to electricity and clean water, two persistent challenges in the parts of Western Kenya, and government planners now view these utilities as critical enablers for small business growth, public health, and also rural transformation. From a policy standpoint, the projects align with the administration's broader economic agenda centered on housing, infrastructure, connectivity, and the basic service delivery. During the meeting, President Ruto stressed that the development should transcend political competition. He reiterated that his administration's stated position that national progress requires cooperation across party lines. The president's message emphasized inclusive leadership, arguing that the region should be excluded from government programs because of political affiliation. And this framing is consistent with recent outreach efforts by the administration to leaders in regions traditionally aligned with the opposition. Political analysts note that such messaging serves both governance and strategic objectives. On one hand, cross-party collaboration can accelerate project implementation. On the other hand, it has reshaped the regional political loyalties ahead of the future elections. Western Kenya in particular remains a key battleground where shifts in political alignments can significantly affect national vote calculations. Notably, the State House meeting proceeded without Mumias East MP Peter Salasia, whose absence quickly drew attention among political observers. Although no official explanation was provided, the timing has fueled speculation within political circles, especially given the proximity of the upcoming Linda Mwananchi rally led by Sifuna. Salasia has in recent months positioned himself as an outspoken political figure within Western Kenya, often attracting significant youth support. His absence from major development meeting, particularly one focused on broader regional constituency, has prompted questions about emerging political alignments. And however, analysts caution against over-interpreting the development without formal clarification. The State House engagement comes just days before the Linda Mwananchi tour arrives in Kakamega, an event expected to focus heavily on governance concerns, public participation, and the rising cost of living. Sifuna's tour has gained national visibility following a dramatic rally in Kitengela that drew large crowds but ended in police intervention. The Kakamega stop is widely expected to attract strong attendance, giving the region's historical support for the Orange Democratic Movement. Political strategists say that the proximity of the two events, that is the State House Development Meeting and the opposition rally, underscores the growing contest for narrative dominance in Western Kenya. And for the government, the focus is on the development delivery and economic messaging. The opposition, the emphasis remains on governance, accountability, and grassroots mobilization. Kakamega County occupies a critical place in Kenya's electoral map, with a large voter population and strong political networks. The region has long been considered a key pillar of opposition strength, and signs of political realignments in Western Kenya therefore attract close national attention. Historically, development pledges, infrastructure projects, and high-level visits have often carried both service delivery and political significance. Analysts note that the government's intensified engagement in the region reflects an understanding of its electoral weight. At the same time, opposition figures continue to treat Western Kenya as a core mobilization base, setting up a competitive political environment. While the State House meeting outlined an ambitious project list, residents and local leaders will likely judge the engagement by implementation speed rather than announcements. Past infrastructure commitments in the region have sometimes faced delays due to funding constraints, procurement challenges, and shifting political priorities. As a result, public expectations remain cautious. Key indicators that observers will watch in the coming months include the budget allocations for the announced projects, the groundbreaking timelines for housing and markets, progress of the airport expansion works, completion of the milestones at Bukhungu Stadium, expansion of rural electricity and water networks. The convergence of development messaging and opposition mobilization reflects a broader pattern in Kenya's political landscape, where governance initiatives often unfold alongside intense political positioning. Political scientists note that the modern electoral competition increasingly blends service delivery with the narrative framing, and the government seeks to demonstrate tangible results, while opposition groups aim to highlight gaps or other governance concerns. In Kakamega, both the dynamics are now unfolding simultaneously. Security planners are also likely to monitor the situation closely to ensure that political events proceed peacefully, especially following the recent tensions at opposition gatherings in other parts of the country. As the Linda Mwananchi rally approaches, several developments will shape the political temperatures in Western Kenya. Together, these indicators will provide a clearer picture of whether the State House outreach alters the political landscape. The State House meeting on Kakamega development is more than a routine government briefing. It reflects a broader context of governance credibility, regional influence, and political momentum in one of Kenya's most strategically important counties. If the promised projects move quickly from paper to implementation, the administration could strengthen its standing in Western Kenya and reshape local political calculations. If progress stalls, the opposition's message on cost of living and governance gaps may gain further traction. For voters in Kakamega and beyond, the moment highlights a familiar but critical question in Kenyan politics: whether development commitments translate into real improvements in daily life. And as the region prepares to host both government outreach and opposition mobilization within the same week, Kakamega has become an early testing ground for the competing political narratives that are likely to shape Kenya's road to the next election. That is all for today from Kenya Lens Media, where we bring you news updates as they break. Kindly consider subscribing if you are new here, as a way of motivating us and also helping us grow this channel.